Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I have a super special creation that I want to share with you. Something that I've been working on for only a little while, and if you watched one of my previous videos, the one where I was talking about the update for the developers and kind of their question and answer, you may have actually seen the development of this creation. Well, finally it is almost completed and I want to showcase it with you. Now, what you may notice on this version is actually there are tracks. So we have one that is amphibious and one that is not amphibious. So here you see both of them, and they're gonna have names which I'm gonna release. However, until now, you'll just kind of call them the ALTA Transport or ALTA Landing Craft. But I worked on it first of all by myself, and then more recently with Sheppy5, who added some of his charm and ideas to it as well. Now, the thing I really love about this creation it is just super simple. There's not a lot of microcontrollers going on behind the scenes. It isn't super advanced, but it's advanced enough. Now, if you know my creations, especially larger vessels, they come with tons of systems, controls, autopilots, stabilization, all kinds of stuff. This is closer to what you'd find on one of my ribs in terms of functionality in the bridge, especially with the system you have here, the controls and whatnot. But overall, there are lots of features on both of them, which I'm going to go through now. To make things a little simpler, we're going to start off on the non-amphibious version, which is just a simple landing craft. You have a ramp on the front and rear, but not just that, and I'll explain that in a second. But pretty much you get your ramps, which have controls here, so you could use the ramp extension to bring up this part, and then the main ramp can be lowered or raised. Now this is perfect if you're going to be going up to a beach or something. There are only two parts of the extension, whereas over there you actually have a three-part extension. So other than the ramp which you see here, there are magulls on the bottom side, so you can actually connect to, you know, whatever beach it is you land. So that is here, and you can easily fold it all up and stow it away. So that looks like this. Now there are winches on the corners here. There's a winch in the center. We have actually winches on the sides, and the same thing's repeated back here. So there are a lot of winches for securing cargo, which could be in the form of a vehicle that you could store here, but also a container. So you could actually put a container here in the standard ISO sized container. And not only that, there is actually a 22,000 liter tank just below the surface here where you could actually store liquid. So it can be used to transport liquid, containers, or vehicles. So it is a very universal little creation, and that is purely intentional. You could actually pump in and out the liquid, and if we go here, we could siphon our own gas tank. So if we put this here and pump in, we should start to fill up. Oh, pump in. There you go. So now we're actually siphoning our own gas, and likewise you could pump out and put it back into our diesel tank. So that is in essence what this one can do, or what it does. The back system is the same. Now over here you have some repair equipment, including diving gear, which you could actually refill, and there's some underwater torches and regular torches. Over here you get equipment, firefighting equipment, all kinds of hoses and things. And up here we actually have a fire hose. So this is a pure normal fire hose for putting out fires as you come across situations, and there is another firefighting outfit here. So that means I may actually change this one, put winter clothes or something else. In the little bridge here, there's a seat, there's our main breaker switch, there's some other gear that you find, and of course our ignition. So when we turn this on, you can control your ramps here as well. So this actually gives you the ability to control your ramps as you are coming up to land, so you don't have to wait and go over there to those controls. You could do it all from here. You could also toggle your magulls from here. in both the rear and stern, or front and rear, pardon me. There's hold heading, and there is trim. Over here we got we have deck spotlights, which is good if you are using this thing at night, so it actually illuminates your deck pretty well. And cabin lights, just one simple light over here for seeing at night. The rear and front spotlights. Now these buttons are the same on both of these vessels. There's active ship stabilization, heater, and this can actually go into a radar, which can actually have a radar and a transponder locator. So it kind of, even for the fact of not being super advanced, it still is pretty advanced. And there you have it. So this is the regular version, or let's say the non-amphibious version. This one has the tank for storing fluids, whereas the amphibious version does not. Also, one other thing that I forgot to show you is something to secure your cargo. Now this actually exists on both versions, and you pretty much clamp a vehicle down, and I'll show you how that works on that version over there. So, the amphibious version. You could thank my fiance for this. I made the regular landing craft, and she said, no, you gotta make it amphibious. And I complied, because that is just how things work. You gotta listen to your fiancés and girlfriends, people. So, pretty much what I did is added the amphibious arrangement, which actually is thanks to Sheppy. He gave me the original idea, which I then bounced off my girlfriend or fiance, and she said, do it. You'll find the same configuration here for all the gear. That is the same. You'll find the winches, you'll find everything else. Now, what is different? In the rear, you actually have this A-frame. So you could drop this gate and drop or raise the A-frame, which you could actually connect to this Magol tether. So if we grab from here the cable, you'll have to sort of jump up and plug that into there, and then you can connect it to there, where now you can toggle your Magol, so good for salvage, but you could also use this to lift non-Magol related things with the regular, call it rope or what have you. There is also a spotlight on the A-frame, which is quite useful for picking up things. And in the front, you actually have a ramp out of 3 parts. So there is one extension, there's a second extension, and it gets it real long. And the reason for that is when you're picking up a vehicle on land, you actually have to have it quite longer, as I'll show you here. Just made a few minor fixes here. You'll find now the Arctic gear and some other equipment, because over there we have life-saving. And I've painted this thing, not a big deal. Now in here, if we give this power and start to drive, you'll notice up here we have the amphibious mode. There's also track brakes, but that's not, we'll use that after. We have to be on land in order to use that. So we can start to head towards land, and as the tracks start to make contact with the ground here, we can turn on amphibious mode, and it'll continue to drive on land. How cool is that? Now, it's not intended to be a road vehicle, a land vehicle, or anything like that. It's just to supplement your transporting needs. So I wouldn't recommend taking this on a road trip like this, but it is good enough for, let's say, stuff like this. So you can put full throttle, and it will actually pick up, a decent amount of speed eventually. It's not supposed to be fast, but here we are going 30 knots, and then we could turn on the brakes, and it kind of puts us at a quick stop. Over here, now if we extend our second ramp first, and then this ramp here, it'll all unfold itself, and then we could drop the whole thing down until we kind of make contact with the ground, just like that. And there you have the ramp configuration. We can now pick up a vehicle and park it up on that ramp. So we can make our way towards the ramp. Just to give us a little extra torque, I'll turn on the low gear mode, and we could make our way up just like this and come to a stop here, kind of in that middle area that's marked off, that's these lines are all for weight balancing, so that's what this is supposed to represent. And now that we're out of the vehicle, we can go here and extend our vehicle secure and toggle the magholes. So now this is secured in the center, and now we can make our way back into the ocean actually, but don't forget to bring your ramps up. So you'll want to put this up all the way, and you'll want to fold down your various ramps just like that. Now that they're all stored away, we can make our way back onto the vessel, into the bridge here, the cockpit. And it does have a reverse mode. You use the regular reverse function. And then it has the forward mode. Of course, steering is not perfect. It's not intended to be a land vehicle, like I've said a few times now. So you definitely will not have the best handling for extended periods. But let's see if we can take off here. Turn on amphibious mode. And there we had it. So we even took off the jump, and it's good to continue as a boat. Now, of course, with the load, it is much slower. It hits around 20 knots, which is more than fast enough considering we're taking, you know, gear across somewhere, and it could be heavy gear too if you're loading it up with, you know, heavy containers or heavy vehicles. So it isn't supposed to be a speedboat in this case, but it is quick enough. Here we have it, even 25 knots. Not bad at all. So that is the new creation that I built with Sheppy 5. I can't wait for everyone to try to use it and kind of hear their feedback and all kinds of stuff. I do love this creation. So small, so fun, and just easy to use and operate. Stay tuned for other creations. Stay tuned for more videos. And as always, happy Stormworksing, everyone.